My name is Ashley. I am 34, a music producer, a mom to a 7-year-old named Mason, and the older, less shiny sibling in a family that never really hid who their favorite was. I build songs for other people for a living. Hooks, bridges, small miracles on a deadline. But at home, I've always been the quiet, fix-it person. The one who shows up with jumper cables, with a checkbook, with a shrug, and a sure. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment over a nail salon. The soundtrack of my childhood was dryers thudding voices through thin walls and my mom whisper yelling at bills. My sister Lily learned early that the surest way to get attention was to need something loudly. I learned the opposite. Stay useful, stay small. Later, when I finally had real work, late nights in studios, then small hit after small hit, my family rebranded that old dynamic as Ashley is blessed. Ashley can help. I didn't argue. When I got my first placement on a charting single, I replaced our parents' broken AC. When my dad's transmission died, I paid the shop. When Lily temporarily needed help with rent, I covered 3 months and then 6. It always sounded temporary. If you ask me what my childhood smelled like, I'll tell you burning dust when the heater kicks on for the first time in winter. If you ask me what adulthood smelled like, I'll tell you coffee at 2 a.m., the inside of a rideshare at sunrise, and that weird plastic smell of new debit cards arriving because the old ones maxed out. A few weeks ago, my mother insisted we do a proper family dinner at their place. Roast chicken, paper napkins, the same wobbly dining table from 1999. Mason sat between me and my dad, coloring a dinosaur with a highlighter. Lily came in 15 minutes late in a white tracksuit and sunglasses like she was avoiding paparazzi in our cul-de-sac. She kissed my mom's cheek, glanced at my daughter's shoes, and said, "Still doing hand-me-downs?" I swallowed that and kept cutting Mason's chicken. Halfway through dessert, Lily tapped her spoon against the bowl. "Okay," she said, bright and casual. "My car died for real this time." "So, Ashley, I sent you the links for the G class. I want the matte one. It's cute. You'll love it." I said no, like I'd spoken a language nobody at the table understood. There was a pause, then laughter. Actual laughter. Even my dad chuckled into his napkin. "My mom said he's teasing." "I'm not," I said. Lily turned to Mason, smiling like it was all a joke. "Your mommy's so funny." I put down my fork. "I'm not buying you a car." That's when Lily leaned back and said, "Then your daughter doesn't deserve to attend my son's birthday." She said it slowly, like she wanted to hear the sentence out loud. "Why should she eat cake I paid for?" Someone, maybe my aunt, snorted. Someone said, "Savage!" The room turned hot and small. Mason looked up at me, confused. His highlighter paused mid-T-Rex. I took a breath. "Everyone will get what they deserve," I said quietly. They kept laughing. They had no idea what awaited them the next day. Here's the part people miss when they retell it. Saying no wasn't a plot twist. It was the only line left. For years, I did the math so nobody else had to. Lily was always the artist, the free spirit, the brand. She changed majors 3 times, then careers 4. She sold candles for a while, then lashes, then coaching. Every try came with a launch party and a payment plan, mine. When my first real check hit, I did what poor kids do. I distributed it. Mom's dental work went to $800. Dad's overdue property taxes, $3,212. Lily's last month of rent before the business pops, $1,300. I told myself I was breaking a cycle. I told myself, you don't heal scarcity with lectures, you heal it with groceries. The small humiliations blended into routine. "Ashley, sweetie, can you sell me $65? The gas bill did a thing. I sent $100. "Ashley, babe, my card somehow stopped working at Sephora and I'm literally in line." I sent $250. "Big sis, can you float me for 2 weeks? 2 weeks became 20. When Mason was born, the request came wrapped in baby talk. "You don't want your niece to freeze, do you? You don't want Nana to worry. You don't want the family to look bad." It was never a question. It was a test I kept passing. If I ever hesitated, the scoreboard came out. Mom would remind me of the time she sold her jewelry for my saxophone in middle school. Dad would remind me he taught me how to drive in a parking lot on Sundays. Lily would send a 2 a.m. paragraph about how hard it is to be a woman entrepreneur in this economy. I'd read it on my phone in a dark studio with a rapper snoring on the leather couch beside me and a mix bouncing at 72%. Then I would sigh, open my banking app, and perform the ritual. I tried to set boundaries once, a soft run. Hey, let's make a budget together. Lily rolled her eyes. Mom smiled like I brought home a finger painting. Dad said, real men don't nickel and dime family. The next week, I covered a $300 tow because a real man doesn't let his sister stand on a median. The problem wasn't one ask. It was the economy of our house. Lily's wants were emergencies. My emergencies were character flaws. The last year amped everything up. My career finally hit a stable stride. Steady placements, a couple of hooks that did real numbers, a sync deal that paid for Mason's school. That's when Lily rebranded again, interior stylist. She announced a relaunch in a group chat with a mood board, a selfie, and a list. iPad Pro, 1 TB for sketches, studio camera for reels, car that matches the brand. She wrote, we can do CLA, Ashley, or you can be my CLA, LOL. Then a winking emoji. Then you owe me for all the times I watched Mason. For the record, those times were 3 total, and I paid her $20 per hour plus Uber both ways. When I didn't respond, she escalated. She started texting directly, Mercedes G-Class matte gray. It's literally my personality. She sent a screenshot of the price, $168,000. They'll hold it if we put down $20,000. You can do that, right? You make music. You're fine. I wrote back, no. She sent a voice note, Elmo. Okay. Comedian. I already told Jordan we'd take the kids to Disney in the G-Wagon. Don't be weird about this. Then came the group thread performance. Family. Ashley is acting brand new. Laugh emojis. My aunt typed, you know she always comes through. Mom. Ashley has a big heart. Dad. Your sister needs stability so she can build. Be a man. I typed, then deleted. Typed, deleted. 2 days later, Lily called while I was comping vocals. If you say no, then Mason doesn't come to Jaden's party. Simple. There was music behind her, something with a tiny bass. She didn't sound angry. She sounded bored. Boundaries, she said, like it was a new word she had learned on a podcast. This is mine, Lily, I said, keeping my voice low so Mason in the other room wouldn't hear the edge. That's your niece. Then act like a sister, she snapped and hung up. That threat turned into a group policy within 24 hours because nothing spreads faster than something cruel that looks like a joke. If you love family, you show up, Mom texted. You can't pick and choose. Then it's one car. Dad called and launched into a speech about fathers providing. I let him talk for 5 minutes before I said, I provide for my daughter. He said, exactly. The night before that dinner, Lily sent me an invoice in Notes app font like a meme. Emotional support, $909.90. Babysitting, unpaid, $1,200. Exposure from tagging you, $50,000. Being my sister, priceless. I stared at it, exhausted. I closed it. I told Mason to pick a t-shirt for his cousin's party because we were still invited. This was before she said the sentence across the chicken and laughed. He picked one with a skateboard on it. He asked if Jaden would have a piñata. I said yes, because I still believe people only say the worst thing once for attention, then walk it back. They didn't. At that dinner, after she said, your daughter doesn't deserve to attend my son's birthday, nobody corrected her. My mom's mouth did a tight smile. My dad poured more iced tea. My aunt whispered, that's harsh, but she was smiling when she said it. Lily kept eating like she'd measured, cut, and served a truth. Something shifted. Not anger, not even hurt. Just a clean, hollow click. I paid for everybody's DoorDash on the way home because that's what my muscle memory did when I felt bad. I fed people. I tucked Mason in. I sat on the edge of his bed and watched him sleep with his small hand on a plastic T-Rex under the nightlight glow. Then I went to my desk and opened a new note. Title, Boundaries. The next morning was Jaden's party. It was all balloons and sugar, an inflatable slide, a rented cotton candy machine, 16 kids with faces painted like tigers, Paw Patrol on a Bluetooth speaker. The driveway had a sign that said, "Welcome Jaden's crew" in foil letters. Right under it, the rule: no gifts over $100. Experiences only. Lily's brand of humble. I parked down the street because I know how my family works, and I wanted 30 seconds to breathe before I walked into it. Mason squeezed my hand. "Do I give him the card now?" he asked. We'd made it together, a drawing of a blue car, $5 folded inside from his allowance. It looked small in my palm. As we stepped up the path, Lily saw us and lifted her chin. Jordan, the on-again, off-again father of her son, stood beside her, holding a balloon bouquet like a shield. My mom hovered, eyes bright with the thrill of hosting. My dad adjusted the grill. The man whose favorite thing is control wrapped in hospitality. Lily's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, you came." I kept my voice even. "We won't stay long." She looked past me at Mason. "Sorry, baby. Today is for people who support the family." My son blinked like he was waking from a nap he didn't mean to take. "Auntie Lily," I said. She shrugged. "Did you bring the keys to my car?" And that was it, the tiniest hinge swinging the heaviest door. I crouched to Mason's level. "Buddy, can you go sit with Grandpa for a minute?" He nodded, confused, clutching the card. I stood, looked at my sister, and I did the thing I've avoided my entire life. I made it simple. "No," I said, "and we're leaving." She laughed. "You're seriously doing this here?" Mom stepped in. "Ashley, don't cause a scene. Children are present. You caused the scene yesterday." I said, "You said my daughter doesn't deserve cake. I'm just ending it." My dad set the tongs down. "Son, Dad, stop." My voice came out calm and low. The voice I use at 4 o'clock a.m. when a singer is crying in a booth, and the take we need is one boundary away. I've paid for braces, breaks, power bills, storage units, deposits, and dinners. I have 4 separate recurring charges on my statements for subscriptions I don't use, but you do. I told myself I was helping. What I was doing was buying peace I never received. The yard had gone quiet in that way. That means phones are out. You can feel the tilt. Lily's smile wobbled. "You're dramatic." "This isn't about revenge," I said. "This is about closure." I looked at my mother for clarity. "Mason is not a bargaining chip. He is not a punishment you hand out when I won't finance your image. The way you talk about him, about me, stops now." Jordan muttered, "Bro, chill." I turned to him. "This is a family conversation." He held up his hands and backed off a step. I pointed, not at anyone, but at the table with the cupcakes, at the rented archway, at the chalkboard sign that said Lily and Jaden's World. "I'm done underwriting this. Today we're leaving peacefully. Tomorrow everything I pay for stops. If there's anything with my name on it, it gets transferred or canceled. If there's money you owe, we'll put it in writing like adults. If you want access to my daughter, you treat her with respect. If you want access to me, you use a complete sentence that doesn't include a dollar sign." Lily's eyes went glassy and hard. "So, you're punishing us?" "I'm accepting who you are," I said, "and I'm choosing who I am." A tiny voice behind me. "Mom." Mason. I turned. His mouth trembled. "Can I give Jaden his card?" I nodded. Of course. Mason walked over, held the card out. Jaden took it, looked at his mom, looked at my daughter, and hugged her. Kids know the truth faster than adults. "Thanks," he whispered. We left. No slamming, no last word, just my hand on Mason's shoulder, guiding him past the foil letters down the sidewalk into our car. As I buckled him in, I heard my aunt say, "She means it," like she'd spotted a weather front on the horizon and wanted to be the first to announce rain. People think the next part was loud. It wasn't. It was a quiet administrative storm at home. Mason asked, "Did I do something bad?" "No," I said. "You did everything right. Grown-ups made a bad rule. We don't follow bad rules." He nodded slowly, processing. Then he asked if we could go get fries. We did. We ate in the car, shoes off, radio low, the late sun turning the parking lot gold. On the way home, he fell asleep. I carried him in, kissed his hair, and let myself feel the sting behind my eyes for exactly 1 minute, timed on my phone. Then I opened my laptop. I made a list. Mom's phone on my family plan. Dad's pickup insurance I'd been temporarily covering. Lily's storage unit, my card on file, of course, 2 streaming services, a music app, and a gym membership I have never visited. The $4,800 I owe you. Lily texted last spring with I swear by Christmas, the $950 refundable deposit for a pop-up she canceled. I put dates next to each in dollar amounts. Then I drafted 4 emails. To Mom, effective tomorrow, I'm removing non-household lines from my cell plan. I'll send you the steps to port your number. To Dad, your insurance payment switches to your card on the 1st. Here are the details. To Lily, attached is an itemized list of money you owe me with dates. Let's set a realistic payment plan. If you'd like to dispute anything, send receipts to everyone. New boundary. I am not a lender. I am not a guarantor. I am your sister. If you need financial advice, I can help you find a counselor. If you need money, ask a bank. I reread each message for heat and deleted every spicy sentence. No digs, no history lessons, just facts in the door I was closing. At 9:13 p.m., Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. At 9:14, Lily called. At 9:15, Dad. By 10:02, I had 27 missed calls and a family group thread that looked like a slot machine. I made tea. I answered none of them. The text shifted like weather. Phase 1, humor. LOL, Ashley is doing policies now. Send a calendar invite. Laugh emojis. Phase 2, guilt. Your grandmother would be ashamed. We're family. You're tearing us apart over a car. Phase 3, anger. You've always thought you were better. Music money has you confused. You're selfish. You're not invited to Thanksgiving. Phase 4, bargaining. Okay, not a G-Wagon. What about a used one? We'll pay you back quick. I sent the same reply to each. Please see email. On Monday morning, the phone plan change went through. My mom texted from a new number, frantic. I can't get into my Instagram. I sent her the carrier's support link. My dad called from work to announce I'd embarrassed him. I told him the agent at State Farm was kind and efficient. He hung up. Lily posted a story, a black background with white text. When family turns their back because they hate to see you win. The next clip was her crying. Then an affiliate link for lip gloss. I muted her. The second wave rolled in from the extended family. I heard, "You're cutting off your mother." I heard, "Mason wasn't allowed cake." I heard, "You're suing your sister." Rumors have legs. Truth takes the bus. I didn't feed any of them. I sent one message out. I love my family. I am setting boundaries. That's all. Then came the practical fallout. The storage unit auto charge failed. They called me. I gave them Lily's number. The gym emailed to ask why I was canceling. I have not attended in 2 years, I wrote. It seems unfair to keep paying for air. The music app thanked me for my patronage. Lily texted, "So you're actually doing this?" "Yes," I wrote. "You're ruining Jaden's life." She said he needs stability, then you will provide it. I wrote back, "I will provide for my daughter." She sent a photo of Jaden's face, a pout like a weapon she didn't mind using. I put my phone face down and did dishes. That week, I spoke to a financial counselor and asked how to formalize the debts without turning my life into court. She suggested a simple contract and realistic terms. I sent Lily a doc for $7,800 payable at $200 per month starting next month. Late fee $0, because I don't want to be her bank. If you miss 3 payments, we're done talking about this, I wrote. I release it. You release me. She replied, delete my number. 2 days later, my mom came by unannounced. She tried to push past me into my house the way moms do when they can still pretend you're a teenager with dishes in your room. I stepped into the doorway. "Mom, we can talk on the porch." She looked at Mason's shoes by the door. "You're not the daughter I raised." "I know," I said. I became the person I had to be. She stared at me for a long second, then did something I wasn't expecting. She softened. "You know your sister," she said, like she was explaining the weather. "She says things. She said them about my daughter." I said, "And you laughed." My mom's mouth trembled. The truth landed where it needed to. She nodded once, like a chalk mark on a board. "Then what do you need me to do? Tell the family the rule." I said, "Mine." If anyone uses Mason to punish me, they don't see him. If anyone asks me for money, the answer is no. If anyone has something kind to say, the answer is yes." She nodded again. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." When she left, she hugged me like she meant it, not like a squeeze to move me into position. The call slowed. The post got quieter. The silence from Lily wasn't empty. It was sharp and humming. I could feel the story she was telling strangers about me. But for once, I didn't try to edit it. I built a new routine. Mornings were for Mason's breakfast and school run, afternoons for stems and mixes, evenings for Legos and baths. At night, after he slept, I worked on my own EP, something I'd put off for years because other people's deadlines always ate mine. On the fourth night of the new quiet, my phone lit up at 1:11 a.m. "Lily." I let it ring out. Then a text. "I can't pay the storage. They'll sell my samples." I typed and deleted 10 replies. I landed on, "I hope you figure it out, Ashley," she wrote. The first time she typed my name without a joke attached to it in months. Please. I turned the phone over face down and went back to the chorus. The hook wanted to be simple. It wanted to be one line you could sing while doing dishes. I recorded a take in a whisper and smiled at the waveform. The line was nothing fancy, just true. What I don't know, I can finally give. In the morning, I took Mason to school. He ran back for a second hug. "Do I still have a cousin?" he asked. "Always," I said, "even when grown-ups are figuring themselves out." I meant it. Boundaries aren't gates to lock. They're fences to lean on while you talk through it, but somebody has to hammer them into the ground first. It didn't end with a confession or a big speech where Lily apologized in a movie monologue. It ended with a Tuesday. On that Tuesday, a letter came from the storage unit auction notice. I forwarded it to Lily, then set the phone down. 10 minutes later, my mom called. Not frantic, just steady. "We'll figure it out," she said. "I'm taking her to sell some things." I told her she has to call and make a plan that isn't "Ashley will fix it." "Thank you," I said. That evening, I drove Mason to the park. He raced a kid on scooters, slid down the slide on his stomach, laughed so hard he hiccuped. The sky was clean blue, the kind that looks edited. I sat on the bench and exhaled. No buzzing phone, no math in my head, just my son in front of me, unbothered by cars he'd never ride in. When we got home, there were 3 envelopes under my door. One from the cell carrier confirming the line change, one from the insurance company confirming the card switch, and one handmade card with messy letters. "Uncle Ashley, sorry about my mom. Thank you for the $5. Love, Jaden." I sat on the floor and cried in that quiet way you do when the body finally believes you're safe. Later, Lily texted one sentence. "I was wrong to say that about Mason." No emojis, no pivot. I typed, "Thank you." Then, before I could talk myself out of it, I added, "When you're ready to make a plan for the debt, I'm here. When you're ready to see Mason, you can apologize to him, not to me." He remembers. She wrote back, "Okay." I'm not pretending we became a new family overnight. There are old grooves our wheels want to fall into. Money is still a language we don't speak well together. But now there's a sign posted in all caps on the road we used to take, "Not this way." If you want the moral, here it is. Plain. The way I wish someone had said it to me at 22 when I started passing every test they handed me. You don't owe people your peace to prove you love them. You don't owe them your future to fix their present. You owe your kid a parent who can look them in the eye and say, "You're safe. I'm steady." I thought, everyone will get what they deserve. Sounded harsh when it left my mouth. Now I hear it differently. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise to myself. I will get the life I deserve because I'll stop trading it for someone else's version of love. My daughter will get the birthday she deserves because I'll throw it for her with $10 streamers and the good cake and no math in the background. And my family will get the boundaries they deserve. Clear, calm, non-negotiable, because that's the only way any of us grows up. I'm not out for revenge. I'm out of the loop. I'm not building a case. I'm building a fence. I'm not cutting anyone off. I'm cutting a door in the right place and locking the wrong one. I'm Ashley. I make hooks for a living. This was mine.